Howdy y'all, this is Trisha, and today I decided to make a banana nut bread. Wait a minute, not banana, pumpkin nut bread. I'm actually using my banana nut bread recipe. I think I've made a banana nut bread here already. And I don't know if I use this recipe or the other recipe that I have. I have two of them actually. One of them calls for milk, this one doesn't, so I decided to use this recipe. And instead of using 3 large ripe mashed bananas, I decided that I'm going to use some pumpkin, and I'm going to use pumpkin pie mix. This stuff already has, all that yummy stuff in there, like the nutmeg and cloves and cinnamon and such. It's already flavored. I've used this to make mini empanadas, so you want to look for that video. And they came out delicious. I didn't have to add anything to this. It's just straight out of the can. No sugar, nothing. No condensed milk, no eggs like it says on the side. That's if you want to make a pie. But I just made some empanadas. And now I'm going to make some bread. So here is what I will need. I will run down the ingredients and the oh my gosh, I can't even speak. Oh, what is the quantity? I kept wanting to say the continent. Okay, the quantity of each, and then as I go along, I will repeat it again. So you will need 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. You will need a teaspoon of baking soda. You will need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, or fine salt, it says on my list. Salt is fine. You will need 2 large eggs at room temperature. So I just pulled these out of the fridge, so I'm going to wait a little bit. And I also need my butter to soften. Okay, 2 large eggs. Right here, 1, 2. And then you need 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And a stick or 1/2 cup of unsalted butter. Also at room temperature. It doesn't say softened, it just says room temperature, but I'm going to just go ahead and just say softened. Okay, aside from that, I would have needed 3 large ripe mashed bananas, but I'm using my pumpkin pie mix, and I do know that 3 large ripe bananas, the last time that I mashed them up, was about a cup and a half or so. So that's about what I'm going to measure of this pumpkin pie mix to add it in there. And then I need a cup of sugar, that's just plain white sugar, and 1/2 cup of some walnuts. As you can see, there they are. It can be pieces of walnuts. You can just chop your own if you have whole ones. These are already like roasted and such. They're whatever. They're not raw, I don't think. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. You can use roasted, toasted, or plain walnuts. If you don't like walnuts, you can do pecan, you can do cashew would be nice in there, or just leave them out because maybe you just don't like nuts. Maybe you have some sort of nut allergy. I know a lot of people have peanut allergy. I don't think that's the same as a nut allergy, but we'll just go with that because a peanut is not a nut, it's actually a bean, so whatever. Anyway, if you have those allergies, you know what to do. I don't. So here we go. I'm going to start mixing all this up. All right, so my recipe calls for it to sift my flour and my baking soda and my salt. So that's 1 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I just threw in, 1/2 teaspoon. I got scared. I thought for a minute there I threw in a whole teaspoon, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to just sift it into this little bowl here, and it'll be all nice and pretty and fluffy. So now that I'm remembering, this is a recipe that I did use. I also had another recipe that reminds me to add cinnamon and vanilla because it was a recipe that I found, and that one was really delicious. Now this one does say add some vanilla, but if you want, you can sprinkle some cinnamon in there as well. All right, let me just finish this up and I'll be back. Okay, here I've got 2 large eggs, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 cup of the white sugar, and I'm going to whisk all this together. Once I've got this all whisked, I'm going to add the softened butter and then whisk that in there as well. And I'll be back. Okay, so what I've decided is I softened the butter just a little bit in the microwave for like 15 seconds, and then I kind of left it in there. And then I pulled it out and let it cool off so that I can add it to this sugar and the egg mixture so that I wouldn't be hot and scramble my eggs, even though it looks like that's what's happening, but it's not. But anyway, because I just need to break up the butter a little bit better. Okay, that's gonna get added to my flour and I'll be right back. Okay, first I did want to show you that that it wasn't scrambled eggs, because it didn't look like it was, and I almost got a little panic there myself, but my butter was cold. I was touching it. I waited quite a while before I came back to continue this. And I just wanted to show you that, look, it wasn't scrambled eggs, because it sure did look like it. All right, and to this I'm adding about a cup and a half of, I kind of eyeballed it, but it's about I thought I'd eyeball it so I could kind of decide if it was the same as 3 ripe bananas, and it's about a cup and a half. So that's what you're gonna put in your batter. If you feel like it's looking like too much, then do a cup and a quarter, or just use bananas. 3 ripe bananas, and it doesn't say 3 ripe bananas are gonna equal a cup or whatever. It just says 3 ripe bananas, and they could be small ones or medium ones or large ones. We don't know what size you find, so I'm just gonna go with this idea that it's about a cup and a half of the pumpkin pie mix. Now, if you don't find pumpkin pie mix, you can use pumpkin puree and then add in cinnamon and cloves and some nutmegs, whatever you would add to like the pumpkin pie, the spices that you would add to pumpkin to make a pumpkin pie. Or you could buy the little bottle of it's called pumpkin spice. You know, it's already in a little bottle and you just sprinkle it in. Anyway, but I just like to get that. It's ready to go, and it's delicious, by the way. I just tasted it again. And over here to my flour and baking soda and salt mix, and what I did is I sprinkled some cinnamon in there. You don't have to, but I went ahead and did that. I just want a little bit of that extra cinnamony taste. I'm taking this to my friend in San Antonio, and I wanted to have a little bit of a extra spiciness, yumminess to it. So that's what I did. Oh, and by the way, I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees. Okay, so now that I mixed this and I blended these guys and sifted them, I am now going to add this mix, which is the pumpkin and the sugar, eggs, and vanilla. Or if you were making banana nut bread, it would be banana, vanilla, sugar, and eggs into here and blend them really well. And then I'm going to add in some walnuts and fold them in. Once I've done that, then I'm going to go ahead and transfer that over to my loaf pan, which I've already sprayed with some of this baking spray. Use whatever kind you want, unless you want to butter and flour it or shortening and flour. It's up to you. Unless you have a non-stick one, then use that. But that's what I'm using. I'm using my little trusted loaf pan, which I love to use. My grandma gave me that, so I'm really happy. Okay, I'll be back because I need to put this into this gradually and mix it in, and I'll show you. By the way, in my notes that I got when I had first was looking for the recipe, it did say that it was going to look a little bit, you know, like it doesn't look right, like a little rank, but it's not. It's just because the ingredients aren't blending all that well, I guess. And here I've already put some in there, and I'm mixing it into my flour, and then I'm going to add the rest and continue. All right, I wanted to show you the batter once I've mixed it all up. This is what it looks like. It's obviously thicker than a cake mix because we're making a bread. So this is basically how you want it to be. You do want it to drip off your spoon or spatula, but not like a cake mix would. And to this, I'm going to add about half a cup of whatever nuts you want if you want to add some in there. I'm doing an about, which is a couple of handfuls. And you can chop them up, break them up smaller, but I want these big chunks because I want us, my friend and I, to enjoy it, or have her enjoy it while I'm visiting her. And I want her to enjoy those big, nice, big chunks. And what's also nice about putting big, giant chunks is, you know, if you happen to serve it to someone that doesn't like it, well, then they can pull out that big old chunk out and eat the rest of the bread. But you know what? I haven't run across anybody who doesn't really like nuts, so there we go. Just because. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and pour that in, put it in the oven. My oven just beeped telling me it is now hot and ready. It's preheated. And I'm going to bake this for 55 minutes. I'm going to put the timer for 45. That way I can go ahead and check it because I have a brand new oven and I don't know how that's working compared to my old one, which the time that I have on here is according to the old one. But 55 minutes is what I wrote down. I think the original recipe said an hour, which is 60 minutes. So you can kind of base yourself on that. But I'm going to put my timer at 45, check it, and then mainly because I don't want it to burn because I'm taking it to somebody as a gift. It's going all the way to San Antonio. And that's a good almost 4-hour drive, and I'm not driving back to make another one. Haha. Okay, anyway, enough of that. I'm going to put this in my pan and put it in the oven, bake it 45 minutes, check it with a toothpick. If it needs more time, I'll just drop it back in again. Okay, real quick before I stick it in the oven, I wanted to show you the size of the loaf pan. Here's like a roll of saran wrap, just a regular size roll of saran wrap, so you can see in comparison the size of the loaf pan, because I don't know right now what size that is, so probably 8 by 4 or something like that, the inside of it. So that's about the size of the loaf pan, and as you can see, look how full it is. I could have made two small pans and made 2 smaller loaves. So this is another reason why I'm going to check it after 45 minutes. Probably I'll come and check it before that, before the timer goes off. I'm just going to be very conscious of it because I don't want it to overflow. I don't think it will. But anyway, just put a pan underneath yours if you have that concern. But this is how much it makes, so you can see. Okay, it's going in the oven. All right, my timer's about to go off for the 45-minute mark, and I'm looking at this, and I can tell that it's still quite moist and kind of jiggly. If I move it around, it jiggles. I don't know if you can see that. So it's obviously going to need more time. There's 2 minutes left on the timer, so I'm going to go ahead and stop it and put it back up for, let's see, 12 minutes. Yes. All right, here's my bread. And it's almost done. I put in a toothpick and it still has some little crummies. So I'm going to put it in for a little bit longer. I think I'm going to do another 5-7 minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of foil over the top. It's hot, hot, hot. Just so that it doesn't brown anymore or burn anymore, actually. Well, it's not burned, so I shouldn't say anymore. It's actually... What am I doing? Oh my gosh. It's actually really pretty. See? It's gorgeous. Okay, but I'm going to put it in a little bit longer. And like I said, the original recipe had said you had to bake the bread for an hour, which was 60 minutes. And this has been 55 minutes. So that's what I'm saying. 5 to 7 minutes more, since I did use the pumpkin puree instead of the bananas. And it might just... Maybe that's just a little bit of a difference. But yeah, I'm going to go another 5-7 minutes and then we'll check it out. All right, and here we go. The beautiful, beautiful pumpkin nut bread. I've already tested it, but for you, I'm going to insert my toothpick in there. It's pretty done. It's been in the oven an hour and then I added another 10 minutes. So 70 minutes, and I think 5 minutes more will do it. And I'm keeping that foil so it doesn't burn. It smells delicious. And I'm sure 5 minutes is enough because I was inserting the toothpick earlier and it was coming out really clean. And now that I've inserted it into this little volcano area, it's just that little area. Actually, it comes out clean every other spot. So just to be sure, maybe not even 5 minutes, but I'm just going to put it in the warmth of the oven. I've already turned it off. It's still really hot because I just turned it off. And so I'm sure that, you know, between an hour and 10 minutes, it's what it would take if you were to add the amount of pumpkin pie mix that I added, which was about 1.5 cups. So you feel like, well, I don't want to have to bake it that long. Then maybe just do 1 cup of the pumpkin pie mix in there so it won't be as wet, and we'll be out within the 55 minutes, I'm sure. So just test it out as you go. If you like this recipe, let me know. And if you tried it out and you liked it, also let me know. Please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. Please subscribe to my channel. I hope you enjoyed this. And this is the best part about making videos like this, is that I'm trying something new and you get to see whether it works or not, or it becomes a fail. And if it was a fail, you'd obviously know. And I think this is not a fail. I think this is something absolutely wonderful. And I would cut it up and show you, but I really want to take it to my friend, and you know, as one big piece. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, enjoy.